And welcome back into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey, producer Aiden behind the scenes. On today's show, we'll take you through all the latest around the Dallas Cowboys, the news, the trades, and, well, it's only just news and trades with days until the 2025 NFL trade deadline. So will the Cowboys end up making a trade? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's video. Will the Cowboys end up making a trade? We'll get to the super chat that came in here in just a little bit. But get your votes in, predictions in. And this could be trading away or this could be trading for. I do think either are acceptable on that front. So what do you think? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments of today's video. Mostly yeses coming in, not unanimous on that front, however. No's from the Iron Patriot, Roy Williams. Get the votes in. Y for yes, N for no. Get to a $2 super chat here from Roman Wolf Gaming. Says, Will Lee III, Whit Weeks, or Kamari Ramsey? Who's your defensive coordinator? Because if you're back to doing a bunch of zone, I don't know if Will Lee's great. I liked Will Lee. I thought Will Lee hasn't had the step forward I thought he was going to have 2 years, or after his 2 years ago, freshman year, sophomore year, whatever it was. He's kind of like been the same guy. I think there are some very intriguing traits. I don't think he's going to be for everybody in the end. I do like Kamari Ramsey, depending on what picks you end up having. He's not a round one candidate for me. Although it's a good safety class in general, I don't know if he falls to you. If you like trade down the third or trade down the second, like he might be the type of guy that's like off before your second round pick and then long gone before your third round pick. I might lean towards just Weeks in the end at linebacker. I think he's a very good football player. The linebacker class in general is super good. Weeks is also at times is at his best in coverage and pass rush and not always the greatest run defender. I think none of those guys are round one candidates for me, but are like, day two options. It is a very good linebacker class, though. Even the safeties, I think there are some very good safeties, too. So you can find those players and maybe you actually invest in them. That'd be nice to have. The news that came across the wire earlier today was this tweet from the People's Insider. Slick Rick says, Boo, the Cowboys and Niners are both to add a defensive lineman before Tuesday's trade deadline. I didn't even really process it immediately. It does say add a defensive lineman and not trade for a defensive lineman specifically, but it's also before the trade deadline. I think the clear implication is trade for one. I guess technically he could come back and say, they signed somebody. I was right. I don't think that's the intent with the tweets. I think that the vagueness is defensive lineman of could it be DE or DT for either of those teams. I don't think add before the trade deadline, that reads to me as, okay, trade. So I do want to acknowledge that, but I interpret that tweet as they're trading for somebody. And Ricky was right about George Pickens. Now, who that player ends up being is a fantastic question. I know everyone wants the big name. I didn't put Max Crosby because I think that would just be kind of silliness. Hendrickson, I think, is maybe the most available, mostly because I think that the Titans and Jets are asking for a first and more for those respective players. Those guys, maybe Kayvon Thibodeau too, there's team control for all of them. The respective teams don't have to trade them away now. They have the same, if not better, offers later in the next offseason if they really, really wanted to. Hendrickson's kind of in a weird spot where, if he were on a different team, I would not be surprised if he got traded. Then again, if you're on a different team, he would have already gotten paid. So it kind of becomes a chicken or the egg conversation on that front. Bengals lose? Maybe. Cowboys might check in again if they lose another game against the Bears. It's an extremely losable game for the Bengals as well. All of the Bengals reporters that know them very well, they will not do it. And to be fair, the Bengals don't really do trades like that. They did it with Carlos Dunlap, and they did it with Carson Palmer, but they did it when those guys like threw a hissy fit and kind of demanded their way out. Hendrickson's requested trades, and yet every time he's worked out a new extension to stay. Short term, but still. So I would not necessarily get my hopes on that front. Some more obtainable names that I think are worth having a conversation on. Both Jets edges, both Dolphins edges, maybe Carl Granderson. The Dolphins might be playing this like, maybe we won't sell game. I think we should cheer for the Ravens tonight on that front. I am intrigued by the two Jets players. I know there's been reporting of they're not going to trade him. They said they're not going to trade Johnson, and then ESPN reported they were going to trade Johnson and McDonald, so it's kind of a weird spot. Either of those guys could interest me. I don't know what the cost would be. You don't have a third. That complicates things. I don't think a 4 gets it done. We can't be offering Sam Williams and a 4. I'd find a way to do it, but I don't think that's, like, I would do it. I don't think that's a likely outcome in the end. But are you okay trading your 2 for one of those guys up there? You can't draft with your 2, so maybe that's not the worst idea in the end. I do think you could find some bargain bin guys. You know, Arnold Ebiketti's on the outside looking into the Falcons rotation. The Titans, I think, would happily trade Arden Key and Draymond Jones. But, like, does that actually move the needle? Like, I am open to doing a trade if that's one of, like, the main priorities of, does this help you long-term too? You know, if you can find, I don't know who that player is, if there's one realistically available. Remember that Minkah Fitzpatrick Steelers trade years ago? Pittsburgh was not a good team that year. And they traded a first because Fitzpatrick was a multiple-year player. And it ended up being fine for them. And that's the type of move I would have interest in. I don't mind trading away day 3 picks, but I'm also not going to be excited if the Cowboys ship a 6th-round pick for Arden Key. Like, okay, that doesn't really change my outlook. It just kind of feels like they did a trade for the sake of doing a trade. Other defensive linemen, you know, Matthew Judon, I think, is very much available, but he's got 0 sacks here. He's not been that good. He was not good last year for the Falcons either. Kind of quickly fell off. So, all right, we'll check back in on trades again later. Some more comments for you guys. Brian Schottenheimer as a head coach, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Someone's like, Package Jalen Tolbert. That's like a 6th or 7th round pick value. Like, that doesn't move the needle for you. Like, yeah, they cut Tyler Lockett. He wasn't doing anything for them. He had 10 catches this year. He was their 4th receiver. Tolbert doesn't do anything for them. Great Schotty as the head coach. A, B, C, D, or F. There's a couple elements that I think the play calling, for the most part, has been pretty good. I tend to get a little bit untrustworthy. They've been burned in the past by like, ooh, the September-October offense looks so good. And then we get to November, December, and it's like, where'd the motion go again? I've seen it happen several years. So I am a little bit like, I don't know, snake bit on that front. There are a couple elements I'm just like, you don't know how to do this yet. There's like the one main thing that like, 2 main things of like, have more, I don't know. On one hand, the defense, like, he didn't pick the defensive coordinator, but, like, I think his comments about, like, you know, I get that he's trying to stand up for his defense. I'm sure you guys know the comments I'm referring to of, like, you know, I don't care about offensive stats. We're not winning games. Like, sure, why are you not winning games, though? Like, there's a reason for that. Every other top 12 offense in football is above 500 except for yours. That's a bad thing. So, head coach does get some blame for that, even though it's clearly the defense's fault. All right, Cowboys 2010, a $10 super chat. If it makes no sense to trade for any player that's not under contract for at least 2 years, not giving up a first for Hendrickson as a rental, I'd rather give Pickens $30 million a year than Trey $35 million plus per year. You could do both if you wanted to. You have the funds available, to be clear. But I am inclined to agree. Like, I get skittish of it if it's a rental, especially because you're probably going to keep that franchise tag in your back pocket to use on George Pickens. So if you're trading for a rental, it better come with an extension. And if you're doing an extension, like, how much are you giving up for the rights to pay a player when hypothetically you could always just go sign them in free agency? So I am inclined to agree on that front there. All right, this is the Super Chat menu on today's show. Any Super Chat is a shout-out. A $5 Super Chat gets you into our raffle entry this Monday night. $10 gets you 3 entries. $50 is a shot, and $100 is a beer bong. Non-Cowboys focused question here. What is the best Halloween candy? The best Halloween candy is not candy corn, although I don't mind it. Like, it's just sugar in the end. But my go-to is Reese's, or I will do almost any, like, just gummy type thing. Like, almost any of those. So, best Halloween candy, let me know in the comment section. Producer Aiden will bring you on here. What are you thinking in terms of the best Halloween candy? Let's see if this is a cancelable take.
It's definitely not cancelable. I like Kit Kats, but Reese's a good take too. I like Kit Kats though. I'm gonna go with Kit Kat. Oh, don't you tell me.
Kit Kat is. I just don't understand how Kit Kat can be anyone's favorite.
What?
Kit Kats are good. Kit Kats can be on, like, I'm keeping these. Like, I'm not trading these, but it's just fine. It's just fine.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat, man.
Yeah, but like, it's just chocolate and wafer. That's all it is.
It's just chocolate and peanut butter.
And peanut butter's awesome.
And wafer's awesome.
I think it's a solid B. Like, I don't think it's an A candy. I don't think it's an A candy.
Okay.
I prefer Snickers over Kit Kat too.
Wow, that is a
clears.
crazy take.
It's not a crazy take at all. What are you talking about?
That's a crazy take. That is
K for Kit Kat, S for Snickers in the comments. Thank you, Chris. Chris agrees with me.
No, they're not. Snickers over Kit Kat is crazy. I mean, listen, who has the best authority on this kind of topic? You guys see me versus these two. I don't know. Okay, that's crazy.
Are you the guy that just, like, eats Three Musketeers and Milky Way all night?
I totally would.
See, yeah, he is.
I eat the chocolate around the Nuke.
You are are you kidding me?
There's something wrong with you.
Chris just says he eats the chocolate on the outside and then balls up the nougat.
Oh, man.
What kind of crack addict behavior is this?
You are a specimen. All right.
Can you please
Producer Chris,
I'm putting this in chit chat. This is unbelievable.
Oh, my.
On the Three Musketeers, you do that.
Oh, yeah.
Steam and take.
Especially if it's the big bar, I just, like, kind of go down and I crunch out the chocolate on the outside, and then I just ball up the nougat.
All right.
Oh, man, it's the best way. You put it in like a dip.
A dip?
You are
I'm kidding on that.
unbelievable.
That. Didn't put that.
Best part, so you got to save it for last.
I did not have that on my bingo card. I didn't.
I'm putting it in chit chat right now. That is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Peanut butter M&Ms, chocolate paydays. Reese's a bad texture. What? Disagree there.
That's also a crazy take.
The Ghost Toast Kit Kat. No, I haven't. Is that the green one?
Okay.
That's cinnamon.
I saw a lot of K's.
By the way, my other hot take is I prefer white chocolate over regular chocolate.
That's not a hot take. I prefer
the
dark
white chocolate
and
Reese's
white
are fire. Butterfinger, Fun Dip, Butterfinger, Sour Skittles, Dum Dums. In light of the defense, which is funny. It's funny. All right. Fun Dip is in there too. Keep the comments coming. What is the best Halloween candy? Then we'll get to Hunter M's super chat. So stay tuned for that here in just a second. We do have our first candy corn entry. I like candy corn, but I don't think it'd be your favorite. Candy corn's not gross though. It's just sugar. So Hunter M, best off-season coach to help D in college or no? I mean, you can explore it. I actually wouldn't be shocked if Schottenheimer did that. He explored some other college coaches. I think in general, the vibe in college is I wouldn't mind jumping over to the NFL. Let me pull this up here. My issue is that, like, you're changing a lot to be because I don't think you're going to get a good sitting college head coach to come be your NFL head coach, DC, probably. But, like, I don't think Jim Knowles would fit in at the NFL level. Like, does the Anthony Lynn want to make that jump? Tony White. I just, like, I I get a little bit nervous of I don't like. It's not like Al Golden's having great success with the Bengals this year. I don't know. Does Blake Baker want to make the jump to the NFL? Because that LSU coaching search looks like it is going to be a disaster. You can always bring back Wink Martindale, but is that really a key one? I don't know. We'll see. I think it's worth exploring. I just don't know if it's the most likely outcome. The NFL trade deadline is a couple days away. Like the video if you are excited for anything coming in on that front. We will have live coverage for you of the NFL trade deadline. It's going to be a long couple days. We're going to go from Monday Night Football to less than 12 hours later, 24 hours later, NFL trade deadline. So we'll have some fun with it. Like that video if you haven't already done so. Coming up on today's show, we'll run through some good and bad news for the Cowboys and then continuously check in on the friend of the show, People's Insider, Pretty Ricky updates on that front. A mailbag. Get any questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, etc. in via hashtag Cowboys or skip the line. Guarantee you get on all together by using hashtag, by super chatting, And Brian Schottenheimer says we will see some changes. We'll break down what those appear to be and what else they might be. So all coming up live here on the Cowboys Report. Coming up on today's show, there is plenty of both good and not so good news for the Cowboys as NFL Week 9 and the trade deadline approach with days until both of them. Cowboys play Monday Night Football, and then on Tuesday is the trade deadline. Still testing how hype works on videos here on YouTube. It is a new feature on the mobile side. Swipe right in the comments. You might see those little two bars. You can just, or two dots below the comment section. Swipe to the right on them, and you'll be able to hype the video. It is free to do, by the way. Help us out. Let's see how many hypes we can end up getting, and then we will go from there. So Cowboys news. Number one, we'll go bad news, good news, bad news, good news, then one bonus news item at the end that came in right before we went live today. Bad news number one, I'm upset again about Jerry Jones' stupid comments. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal about natural gas and his Comstock investments, which, you're an owner. You're allowed to have investments. You should be making money, whatever. Here's Comstock resource stock. Here's what he said. There's $100 billion present value with the gas out there. That's why I'm talking to you on the telephone rather than trying to fix the Dallas Cowboys defense. This is the stuff that bothers me. He's probably using some hyperbole to make a point, whatever. Why do you say stuff like this? Why do you go out of your way to drive by your own fan base? I don't understand it. If you're just an owner, it's fine. It's what owners do. They have multiple different things. But when the narrative around you is that you are more dedicated to other investments and you use your franchise as an investment property, it's not okay to do this. You can't do this as the GM. You can't have it both ways, where you have the alleged accusations of there's a budget the Cowboys put on their team each year. It continues to make it seem like your priorities aren't in order. You can do both, but why are you trying to serve two masters? Why can't you just focus on the one? Or let someone focus on the other? That's what bothers me. So are you mad at the Jones boys? FJB in the comment section of today's show if you are. I think it's all of us in the end. So FJB right now. Good news. The Cowboys are offering up some hype as it relates to Shavon Revel. They're leaking, let's put it that way, plenty of praise for the young corner. Here's what Ed Werder recently tweeted about Shavon Revel. The Cowboys coaching staff is buzzing about how impressive Revel has been in his first week of practice and what he can add when activated before Monday Night Football against the Raiders. Revel, of course, has not played yet this season. He had the setback, not for the draft, but afterwards in training camp. He just didn't look comfortable. Apparently looks better since he's been back out there for the Dallas Cowboys. The talent with Shavon Revel is undeniable. This is why he was in plenty of round one mock drafts before he got hurt in 2024. The stuff he was putting on film in 2023 as the archetypal Cowboys corner, long, lanky, athletic, straight line speed. Probably would be pretty good at man coverage. is exactly what the Cowboys, I think, are desperately hoping for. My biggest concern when it comes to Revel is we should probably have realistic expectations here. We are at the point where the corners on this roster just aren't good. So, or at least too many of them aren't good. And you'll deal with some of the ups and downs that will come as a result of a rookie third rounder who hasn't played football in over a calendar year. I liked Revel a lot coming out of ECU. I was down doing the risky pick there in the third, and then doing the second for once. I do think patience, proper expectations, knowing there's going to be some ups and downs are needed. You'll probably ramp him up. He's probably not an every single snap starter. You probably don't want him to be when he first comes back. But if by the end of the year he looks like a piece, that would be a pretty big-time win for the Dallas Cowboys, and that should be this franchise's goal. Today's show is made possible by Ethos. As a father of 2 kids, it's not fun to think about what would happen if something happened to you, but you do need to be prepared. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. Ethos is a trustworthy company that disrupts the traditional life insurance industry. And as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. They're an online platform, makes life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not months. There is no complicated process, and it's 100% online. No medical exam is required. You just answer a few health questions and get a quote in as little as 10 minutes. 3 million families have completed applications and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage for them. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Go to ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. ethos.com/NFL Daily. Application times may vary and rates may vary. Bad news the second. I hate to say it. Head coach is a coward. And I don't like that at all because I don't want cowardly coaching. If you're going, God, if it's like the Cowboys are punting, giving up way too much on 4th down, not going for it as much as they should, your eye test is correct. The Cowboys are not going for it on 4th down. Ben Baldwin does some really good 4th down metrics here based on win probability. So, like, you are down by 3, or you're down by 4 with 30 seconds left to kick the field goal. You should. What are you doing? Like, that's the extreme example, right? In this particular scenario you see on screen here, you're gaining more than 1% if you go for it, regardless of the outcome. If you go for it, your odds of winning go up by 1%. These are not like 1%. These include everything beyond 1%, but also like the less obvious ones, like that you should probably go for. For example, that punt I melted down on last week was like 1.5% gained. Cowboys going forward about 25% of the time. They are with the Titans, the Steelers, the Saints, and the Chargers in that metric. You boost that to 2%, which is like, okay, we really should be going for it here. It is even worse, it is 20% for the Cowboys, 2% or greater. Again, this is also, by the way, outside of the final 30 seconds, or you're in the first quarter, and you're outside of garbage time. You know, 10, because at that point, it's like you have to go for it no matter what, and it's almost to the point of you can't get a % boost because it's so far a game out of hand. You go boost it to 3% win probability boost by going for it. It's better. It's about a third of the time. It's still bottom 5. They're cowardly. You have to make a change here. When your defense is this bad and you have an offense that's good, you should be going for it. You should be, frankly, recklessly aggressive by going for it. Like, you're backed up at your own 25. It's 4th and 1. Honestly, I would just go for it. Like, that's how extreme you should be because your defense can't do anything right at this moment. So grade Brian Schottenheimer as a head coach. A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. A, B, C, D, or F. Second bit of good news. We are going to get Perrion Winfrey, at least we're trending towards, I should say, getting Perrion Winfrey back for the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas has opened up his 21-day practice window. That would put him back after the bye, maybe the week after the bye, beyond that as well. They'll probably use the entire 21-day window. He's been eligible to return. I think he was just a little bit further behind in terms of getting healthy and everything there. Very curious how that ends up playing out with who does he end up replacing? On the field, pretty clearly Mozzie Smith or Jay Toia from a snap count perspective. Who does he replace on the active roster? I don't know if they're going to get rid of Mozzie at that point, but he and Jay Toia have kind of flip-flopped the inactives each and every single week, so I don't think they're going to carry 6 defensive tackles and 6 edges. That seems a little bit extreme. Now, we will have free Cowboys videos for you each and every single day right here on the channel, multiple times per day, by the way. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. Bad news number 3, because I saw some comments made by Schottenheimer. I wanted to dig into it more. The penalty boys are back. After that penalty-filled Denver performance, they are well and truly back. The Cowboys have the second most penalties in the entire NFL this year. They continue to just shoot themselves in the foot as much as possible. They don't have the yardage advantage on that front, which I guess is better, but they have 11 false starts. They've got, offsides. They have a lot of offsides. They've got 5 offsides. They continue to be a team that just shoots themselves in the foot, and you can't do that when you don't have the defense to overcome it. It's been a problem. Again, you're always top 3 in penalties, and it's normally the same couple victims, same couple perpetrators, but you know what? At some point, when you have a culture that lacks accountability from the ownership, tends to trickle on down through everything else. Now we're going to try once again to bully the Cowboys into fewer penalties. Bullying does work. They ran more man for a week when we called them out on. We're going to do it again this week, by the way. Type flags in the comment section of today's show. Good news number 3, I do think we will get Cooper Beebe back this week for the Dallas Cowboys. I think there was a chance last week. The Cowboys even had an open roster spot during last week's game. They didn't utilize because they thought they might get Cooper Beebe back. Stephen Jones said this: I think this week will be the week. He was so close. I believe this will be the week. I hope he's back. I think against Denver, really for like one of the biggest times all year, you noticed, man, we had some issues up front. I appreciate everything Captain Insano Brock Hoffman does. He's a great backup player. I don't necessarily want him to be my everyday starter. I think this week we will get Cooper Beebe back. And for the first time in a long time, you actually end up getting a very key impact, like a starting offensive lineman, all 5 are out there. That would be a pretty significant boost for the Dallas Cowboys. One more note, by the way. I know there was some freak out when this happened on social media. DeMarvion Overshown left practice. Joe Hoyt mentioning he didn't seem like there was a lot of concern, if any at all, by the way. It does sound like it was something with his hand, and that has been confirmed afterwards by reporters like Todd Archer. In fact, he actually came back out once the media open portion was available. So Overshown's fine. Nothing to be overly concerned with on that front. All right, updates from Pretty Ricky, the People's Insider. Says, boo! The Cowboys and Niners are both expected to add defensive linemen before Tuesday's trade deadline. I don't know if it's going to be a big name. I'm scrubbing through this. There's another update from Yahoo, which we'll see. There's some Diggs updates. We'll go through this tomorrow, by the way. We'll do this tomorrow morning. I would be surprised. Mentioning Diggs eating the contract. Yeah, see, I don't know if that really makes any sense there. Teams are curious. Okay, that's really just kind of ignoring everything about. That's very clickbaity headline by Yahoo as I dig through it right now. That's very clickbaity. Very, very, very clickbaity. I don't like that. I don't like that headline. It was essentially like, maybe Crosby's available. Of like, other teams think, well, maybe if you blow them away. Also, they still told us no. So it's like, people don't know, despite the Raiders saying no. It's just kind of like, I don't know. We'll hit it. We'll hit it tomorrow. Also says, don't even bother on Myles Garrett. From the same guy who created the Myles Garrett Eagle stuff. Come on, Yahoo. Be better. Be better. Disappointing. All right, Hendrickson, Simmons. I'm just going to send this to myself. Like I am open to checking in again on Hendrickson after the Bengals play on Sunday. I would not be overly surprised if the Bengals do what the Bengals always do and just say, nope, we're not going to trade him. They've done that many a time before. Many a time before. Simmons, I have doubts gets moved. I think for Simmons and Quinnen Williams, like if you blow them away, yes. But I think we're talking 1+ on that front. First and change. I think it's 2 for Crosby and probably or 2 firsts for Crosby and probably a second, I think, is reasonable for Hendrickson. Thibodeau would be fun as well. We mentioned the reporting from Pretty Ricky, the People's Insider. I would not be surprised if they added a defensive lineman. I do think that Jerry kind of went out of his way to tell Diana Rossini, it's not going to be an edge. I think the Cowboys have kind of gotten a little bit better about lying, frankly. I think that's kind of been the main thing that they've done. They've developed a better path to lying, which is what they should be doing in the end. Realistic trades, I'd call about the 2 Jets players, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald. I think both are worth exploring. Same with Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. Like, both those teams are bad. Like, I think you can justify trying to call on those guys. The question is about the cost. What is the right cost for you? You can get those guys. You call the Dolphins and offer a first-round pick for Jalen Phillips, they're going to say yes. Should you do that, though? Probably not. Probably not. If you eat all of the money on Trayvon Diggs, maybe you can get a 7th-round pick back. But should you even bother doing it at that point? Like, at that point, you're not saving money. So why bother? You can put him on IR and send him away if you need to. It doesn't. That's my issue. There are plenty of bargain bins that are available out there as well. The cheap guys, Arden Key, Draymond Jones, those guys are definitely available, I think. But day 3 pick, so I won't be mad about it. But am I going to be over the moon, hyped, crazy, excited? I have my doubts and concerns on that front. So those are just some of the names we mentioned. Again, we'll hit some more trade rumors tomorrow for you in light of the updated reporting from Yahoo, which there's a lot of speculation in there from other people that aren't the team involved, and that always raises red flags for me. It raises significant red flags, and just came off of, like, it's unclear if Max Crosby is off limits, and then it's like, here's other teams think maybe if you blow them away, and then it's like, yeah, but the Raiders said no. Like, is it actually off? Is it actually clear on that? Like, I don't know. I think again, everyone has their price, but I think the price involved is probably a lot. It's probably a lot. Mailbag time coming up here on today's show. You can use hashtag Cowboys, skip the line all together via Super Chat. Couple of Super Chats we will get to here as part of this. So get your questions in right now in the comments. Hashtag Cowboys, or else producer Aiden cannot find your questions. Any super, by the way, is a shout out. A $5 raffle entry gets you into our signed giveaway this upcoming Monday Night Football. $10 is 3 raffle entries, $50 for a shot, and $100 for the beer bong. That's all coming up here on the Cowboys Report for our live mailbag. A $5 super thanks coming in from William Cooks. With a competent GM, it would be easy to do so, i.e., re-signing George Pickens. However, given this is the worst GM, I think Pickens is gone and they get a 3rd-round comp pick. I do think the worst-case scenario is this upcoming offseason, they franchise tag George Pickens. People, I think, kind of missed it that, hey, they extended a guy like DeRon Bland early, allowing them to have that franchise tag freed up. And by trading away Micah, you had it freed up as well. So I think that is the worst-case scenario. But just pay him and don't drag this out into August again. Now, if you want into our weekly raffles, a $5 super thanks, if you can't watch our live shows, will get you in. That's all you have to do. Again, from William Cook, who was always kind of dominating the super thanks game. He says, what is going to happen when Overshown and Revel will come back, and the Chiefs or Lions drop 40 on them. There are too many issues for just 2 players to solve. I do agree that that is the case. I don't think it is fair or reasonable to expect a guy that hasn't played in over a calendar year and has never played in the NFL, and a guy coming off a devastating knee injury can simply fix all of your issues. I don't think that's rational. Now, Jerry might put himself into the conversation of, hey, we got our safeties healthy. There's some guys coming back. There are some additions. We added Overshone. We added Revel. And they go out and add 1 defensive line. They say, we did multiple things to make our defense better. That would be that's Jerry math right there. CJ DeYoung III in again with a $5 super thanks. He says, Jerry ain't doing blank before the trade deadline. He thinks he's on all the cards with those 2 late first-round picks from the Packers. It's a dumpster fire, fellas. Thanks. I would not be surprised if they did make a trade. I am curious to see what that trade ends up being. If it ends up being a wild overpay, a good deal, or, okay, that's fine type of move. And we'll see what happens. There hasn't really been a trade that's happened so far as of filming this on Thursday during our live show that I go, damn, why didn't you do that? Like, at least not recently. The rest of them, I wouldn't have been mad at them, but they don't, drastically move the needle for me either. So predictions. Will the Cowboys make a trade? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. From Dro Knows, a $5 super chat. I'll put you in the raffle right now, my friend. He says, keep the picks. Double dip at linebacker. Reese from Ohio State. Anthony Hill from Texas. Also a good edge class with Ruben Bain, L.T. Overton, Keldrick Falk. That's Miami, Alabama, and Auburn, respectively. Arvell Reese might be an edge, by the way. That might be his best spot in the NFL. I think the linebacker depth is good enough. You might be able to take an early round guy and a late round guy and get really good value there, or a mid round guy even. If Overshone's healthy, you probably don't want to spend 2 top 50 picks on it. But I do think double dipping front 7 edge linebacker in some combination, I would not be upset about that at all. Cowboys 2010 says I'd be dead ass trading 4 first rounders for new ownership. Just give me the team, Jerry. And if I don't win a title in 10 years, I'll sell it. And I get to profit the money. It's a win-win for everybody, right? If only it were that simple, of course, Cowboy. If only it were that simple. Roman Wolf Gaming says Nick Saban, John Gruden, or Rex Ryan for defensive coordinator. How are those my only options? Nick Saban would be awesome, but I don't think Nick Saban's coming back out of coaching. It certainly is not going to do it for a defensive coordinator role. John Gruden is an offensive coach, so check him out of that box there. I honestly don't understand the fascination with Rex Ryan, other than the fact he's a name people remember and he's on TV every day. I think that's the reason. He hasn't actually had a very good defense in several years now. He hasn't coached in the NFL since 2016. It'll have been almost an entire decade since he coached in the NFL. His last top 10 defense in points per game was in 2010. He hasn't been a DC since 2008. Now, if you want to do yards, cool. He snuck in 1 back in 2014 with the Jets, the year he got fired. I'm not intrigued by the idea of Rex Ryan. I would like to do a real coach search. I get that there's the connection with Brian Schottenheimer, and that makes it at least plausible, but I would like to do a real search and not just hire someone who hasn't coached in the game for 10 years. Today's show is made possible by Ethos. As a father of 2 kids, it's not fun to think about what would happen if something happened to you, but you do need to be prepared. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ETHOS.com/NFL Daily. Ethos is a trustworthy company that disrupts the traditional life insurance industry. And as of March 2025, Business Insider named them the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Ethos is an online platform that makes getting life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not months. There is no complicated process, and it's 100% online. No medical exam is required. You just answer a few health questions and get a quote in as little as 10 minutes. 3 million families have completed their applications and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL daily. That's ethos.com/NFL daily. Application times may vary, rates may vary. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show. William Cook, I wonder if the players they can afford to trade for would be better than the draft picks that they would give up. I think that's the crux of the question, right? Like, what do you actually give up and what do you get back? I think there are players, the answer is yes, and there are players, the answer is no. At least the ones that are realistically available and would be the real trade values. Like, yeah, I'm going to trade a 4th-round pick in Sam Williams for Jermaine Johnson. Don't know why the Jets do it, but I do it. I think that's the give and take. A lot of this comes down to if you think that they draft well or not. And there have been some issues there. I also think the constant shuffling of defensive coordinators is playing a big factor in that. Max Finnegan, a $20 super chat. So extra entries for Max today. He says, hey, Tom, who do you think should make the roster on this current defense? I think only 4 or 5 players should be guaranteed to have a spot for next season. In terms of like truly guaranteed, it's probably more than that because like they're on super cheap rookie contracts and you don't like need to move on from them. The only guys that I'm like, yes, you are in no matter what, and like outside of like a Godfather, make me say no trade offer, right? Ezraku is one of them. I don't know if any of your linebackers have honestly earned it. I think contract-wise, Deron Bland, Osa Odigizua are not going to go anywhere. And then I think just like recent draft picks means you get to stick around and like Shamar James and Maurice Leafau and frankly probably Marshawn Nealand as well. But, Wanye Thomas is coming up on a new contract. Marquise Bell got paid, so I guess he sticks around. Elijah Clark was on a very cheap deal, so like he gets to stay. But like better question is like, who are your building blocks on defense? Osa by default to the contract, although I've been a bit disappointed by him. Supporting cast, I think, is causing a big impact there. Deron Bland and Ezraku, right? Isn't that kind of it? It's the issues you're facing. $2 from Joshua, by the way, says, why isn't anyone talking about Roquan Smith? I never really thought he was available. That was one of the early ones of like the big name that people think might be available and then just like kind of went away a little bit. He got banged up, so kind of took him out of the popular eye. He was very good in the return game against the Bears, by the way. Very good in that game. I assume they're able to beat the Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. I might be wrong and look dumb when the time this video goes out. We'll see. But I don't think he's actually available. You can revisit in the offseason, but I don't think a midseason trade is going to happen in the end. So name a player who you want to trade for. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Name a player who you want to trade for. Steven, since Eberflus will be fired at the end of next season, who would you like as the next DC? Not what they hire, but who would you hire? Look, honestly, my answer is I do a real search. I don't know who's going to be available. I don't know who's going to emerge as a top candidate as the second half of the year plays out. If Aaron Glenn gets fired, you want to run more man coverage, there you go. He loves man. That's what he wants to do. He wants to blitz and run man coverage. Might not be a good head coach, but he was a good DC for the Detroit Lions until they all got hurt. That would be near the top of my list. Don't know if he's available, though. I would do a real search, though. Like, I would not just do what they've done every time and interview like 3 people that they know and go, yep, we're hiring you. Like, they did that with Eberflus and Mike Zimmer. There was no real search. Those were their guys immediately. Crimson Cowboy, do you foresee us moving away from the 3-4 scheme to a 3-4 base with a 3-3 overlook for a nickel package to help disguise looks? Need more cover 7, cover 3 maybe able to combat modern passers too. I think you mean cover 6, but whatever. Meaning cover 7. I see what you mean. Never mind. I doubt they do. They do a little bit of the 3-4 base stuff, but it's mostly like they rotate a linebacker down, so it's kind of a 4-3 over or 4-3 under. They don't disguise their coverages very much. I did run the numbers through the Summer Sports Advanced Data. It's bottom 7 in coverage, in disguised coverages. That's not what Eberflus likes to do. Eberflus at his core is a 4-3 guy. So they'll do the occasional linebacker, rotate down, maybe add someone to the box if like the personnel is correct from the opposing team. I just think they do need to do more disguise coverages, especially against smarter quarterbacks, because you can get away not disguising if you get home. But if you're not getting home and you come out there and it's like, looks like cover 3, drop back, it's cover 3, I got time. Your processing does not slow down at any point, and it's too easy on the QB. Bobby Boucher Jr., thoughts on the Nick Herbig trade idea? I don't hate it, actually. I probably should have put him in that candidates list we did on, or the targets list we did on the defensive end on Thursday's morning's video. I'd be a little bit surprised if the Steelers traded him. They like him. They're a contender. I get that he's behind others on the depth chart, but Pittsburgh's also like an injury away from being like, damn, we're in the midst of a playoff run and we just traded away our other good edge rusher, or one of our other good edge rushers. What is your confidence level when it comes to trades for the Dallas Cowboys? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. From Roman Wolf Gaming, can the NFL stop Stephen Jones from ownership? Can, if he does something, yes. Will? No. No, they won't. It takes a pretty extreme thing for any ownership to kind of get poo-pooed and stopped in major sports. Because remember, the league works for the owners. Roger Goodell technically works for Stephen Jones already. Daniel M. I think Jerry wants a big-time premier player in a trade, but Steven wants to get rental players, save the money / assets for other moves in the future. I think that there's some logic to that theory. It's been the case many a time in the past, where Steven is the one that doesn't want to do stuff, and Jerry is the one who wants to be a bit more aggressive. I do think Steven was one of the ones who were in favor of trading away Micah Parsons, by the way. And then Jerry got on board after the disaster. We got live shows, watch parties, mailbags, daily videos, and more. Hit that sub button if you haven't already. YouTube.com/CowboysTV. Again, YouTube.com/CowboysTV. From Roy Williams, I wouldn't be surprised if Jerry trades a 6th for John Ridgeway. Good old John Ridgeway. Yeah, he's been quite the journeyman, hasn't he? He's been cut a bunch, actually. I don't know if you guys knew that. He's just kind of bounced around and gone. He's with the Saints right now. Is with the New Orleans Saints after the Commanders had cut him. After the Cowboys messed up because they just didn't put Dak on IR like a normal team that would. The issue with Ridgeway is he hasn't actually done anything. He's just we liked him because he had energy, and then he's been whatever over the course of his actual NFL career. $10 from Manny, getting you into the raffle as well, my friend. Thank you very much. Says, possible to trade Max for a 1st, 4th, at Sam Williams and Trayvon Diggs. Obviously pay for most of Diggs' contract. Osa got paid because of the double teams Parsons demanded. No one to double team now. I do agree on the Osa front. His double team rate is up by a higher figure than his pass rush win rate and pressure rates are down by. I think there's a pretty clear correlation there. I would be stunned if the Raiders did anything less than 2 1s for Max Crosby. The late Green Bay Packers one, I don't know why that would move the needle for them, by the way. Diggs, I don't think has any value, but you're eating the contract, so I think that's valuable. Sam Williams, he's a freebie throw on. If you told me today, hey, he's actually available for a 1 and a 4, I am doing that in a heartbeat because I think he's awesome and he's an elite football player. But he doesn't want to be traded. The Raiders have done everything in their power to make it clear they don't want to trade him. I don't know why we think he's going to, other than frankly, hopium from other teams. That's how I interpret all the reporting. Is the Raiders said no, but what if they didn't? Okay, that's kind of how all of it comes through in the end. We had the update earlier from Ricky Scoop. Says the Cowboys and Niners are both expected to add defensive linemen before the Tuesday trade deadline. He did say add and didn't specify trade, but the trade deadline is in there. So my interpretation there is, so they're going to go trade for somebody. Now, defensive lineman was not clear. Is it defensive end or defensive tackle? How aggressive will the Cowboys end up getting? You could try to do the everyone has their price trade. From Hendrickson and Simmons and Quinnen Williams and Kayvon Thibodeau. By the way, Cardinals changed their planning for the quarterback interview. It was supposed to be Kyler Murray originally, But now it is quarterback will be available later this week. Now, why would they do that? I already filmed the preview, so I hope it doesn't change, but we'll see. I would not be surprised if a trade happens. By the way, Overshown's fine, guys. He's fine. He returned to practice. There's nothing to be concerned about. His hand is fine. Overshown went back to practice. Aiden, what's up, my friend?
I'm intrigued to see maybe your opinion on what Kayvon's price would be with right now. It seems like a similar situation to the Dolphins where they have so many pass rushers, but this is probably by far and away Kayvon's best year since being in the league, I would say.
Pressure-wise, maybe.
Pressure-wise, that's probably a better way to evaluation. But
I talked to Marshall. Marshall said it first. The issue with Thibodeau, and same one with Quinnen and Simmons, they don't have to trade him.
Right.
He's under contract next year. So there isn't massive rush on that front. I would be surprised if that ended up happening. The Cowboys fans are once again freaking out over the Crosby stuff. I don't know. I don't know why we would take the word over. I don't know why we would take the word over a different team over what the Raiders themselves have said.
Right.
If Max wanted out, different conversation. This just reeks of hopium.
It's as you say. He is a Raider. He is the Raiders. He embodies what that team is, and I don't see any value, any price that's going to have him leave, and I don't see why they would want to get rid of that impact. That team is already one of the worst in the NFL. You take him away, that's just a dumpster fire, man.
If you can get him for this magical first and a pick swap, I'm doing that so quickly.
Oh.
It just reeks of hopium to me. That's what it reeks of to me. So they're just I also think it's very. I think it's kind of crappy to use the older quote from ownership too, because that's not you. I don't like that reporting. I don't like that reporting from Yahoo, frankly. I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that at all. So we've mentioned trades here. I think the Jets and Dolphins are more realistically available players. Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb. Dolphins, I think, are trying to take this we're not going to sell mindset. That could just be posturing until the last second and selling. That I also wouldn't mind that mindset from a GM perspective. That makes sense to me. So Johnson, McDonald, Phillips, Chubb, all out there. You can get a bargain buy guy too. Ebiketie, Arden Key, Draymond Jones, probably some of the more notable ones. I'm gonna message Mitch this too. Anyway, Draymond, Enigbare, yeah, you can get these guys, but those are day 3 picks. Which does that move the needle? No. I saw someone say that the Kaiir Elam trade was the worst trade ever. No, it's not. It's not even their worst trade this year. It's not even their most recent worst trade. I don't. Ugh. It's nonsense. What's up, Aiden?
I'm curious also about a Tyree Wilson. I liked his size and his skill set coming out of college, and that might be a guy that despite not having a ton of production, you just swing on with a day 3 pick, as you're saying, because he has that giant frame that might be able to pair alongside an EZ in the future. I don't know, somebody like a Tyree. How do you what do you think his value is right now?
He's not good yet.
Right.
I'm not. I don't need another project edge right now.
That's actually very fair.
It's kind of just the same old stuff in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Let me message Mitch back here real quick. Got a super chat. Get to that in a second here. Roman Wolf Gaming. Tom, if you own the Cowboys, what is your top 5? Top 5 what? Trade targets? Or what? Draft picks? Yeah. I asked Mitch if anything has changed from the Raiders side. He said no. There you go. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Top 5. Realistics. I think McDonald, Johnson, Phillips. I'd probably put Minka Fitzpatrick high up on that list. I think he's a good player still. I think your safeties are not good players. And then fourth is, I'll leave fifth of like, I got lucky and the opposing team like made a mistake. Like, why would we just kidnap Max Crosby? Why don't we just do that? Why don't we just do that? Manny, again, a $5 super chat says Christian Wilkins is still available. Why not give him a shot when he will be healthy soon? Wilkins and Kenny Clark will be a decent duo. Size. The last couple weeks, I think Ghost has actually been better than Kenny Clark. Clark has not been consistently good the way he was to begin the year. The issue with Christian Wilkins is, are we sure he's healthy? We don't know that, actually. It's been extremely quiet. I bet it will pick back up after the deadline. We can have the after the deadline conversation on him as well. I just think that you've got the whole agent issue, which might be looming. I think the original reporting was Wilkins wanted to go play for a contender this time. You might not be a contender. What price point does he want? Is he going to be a rental? Is he not a rental? Like those are the big questions that kind of loom out there and go, there's a lot of, it's not impossible. The difference is there's a lot of ifs and buts and waits that they just have to kind of sort and work their way through that make it a little bit more complicated than like a regular street free agent, even though at this point, like, we just don't know so much on the Wilkins front. But we'll discuss it in depth after the trade deadline, I promise you. Super chat menu, by the way, any super chat is a shout out. $5 is a raffle entry, $10 is 3 raffle entries, $50 is a shot, and $100 is a beer bong. That is the super chat menu on today's show. J-Buzz, a $10 super chat. Do not make a trade. Do not come. We lost D-Law, Micah, J-Lou, and Diggs isn't good anymore. Replaced all that with guys who aren't playing well. One trade won't cover that up. Keep the picks and be buyers in free agency. If this is your mindset, I don't mind it either. I also wouldn't mind doing a trade that allows me to add a multi-year player. Or if it's a day 3 pick, I'm never going to cry over. We traded a 7th round pick or a 6th round pick for a player and a 7th, and the player's bad. Oh no. Who cares? Like, that doesn't really matter. I can be mad at the player for when he plays bad, but it's not like that ruined your hopes and dreams of everything else on that front. But I do completely understand this mindset. Thursday night football. Who you got? R for the Ravens, D for the Dolphins. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. R for the Ravens, D for the Dolphins. Message Mitch back again here.
Not only do I have my pick for tonight,
okay.
I have a at least 3, if not 4 leg parlay I want to run by you.
Oh,
it's safe.
I already have the 13 leg done. It's a lot of alt lines.
I love alt lines. 13 is a lot. Okay, I'm thinking
plus 2,200.
Oh, yeah, that's you got it. That's in the bag.
Been really close on a bunch of these this year.
I'm thinking 70 plus HN rush receiving. That's got to be free. Tua 200 plus passing. Derek anytime. Those are the 3. The 4th I'm sketchy on is maybe Lamar in his first game back, a combined pass rush at 225 plus. But that would be one that I flex.
Okay. I am on Zay Flowers touchdown jackpot tonight.
What's the odds on that?
Well, it's the touchdown jackpot, so they're all like decreased.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't know. No.
Be a good one though tonight. I think it actually could be a decent bit of points.
The Dolphins. My theory is the Dolphins just suck on defense again. They had their one good game against Ravens, and now they're back to it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go Ravens tonight, but I think the last time we did you got it was 8.5 spread. Now it's 7.5 as today. Still think the Dolphins might actually cover that. I'm gonna take the Ravens, but I do think the Dolphins could cover there.
It's a big spread. It's a big spread. Who you got? R for the Ravens, D for the Dolphins. Someone said both number 1s for Myles Garrett. It's not going to get him going. All these, got to make him move the needle. That's it. You got to blow them away, and it doesn't make sense at that point. I don't think 2-1s gets it done. 2-1s may have gotten it done before he signed his extension, but he took the money. So get your votes in. Last call. R for the Ravens, D for the Dolphins. I do think we should be cheering for the Ravens. Those of you who want to potentially add some players via the Dolphins trade potential fire sale would be nice. So R for the Ravens, D for the Dolphins. Brian Schottenheimer once again has said changes are coming for the Dallas Cowboys after yet another loss. We're going to break down one of he has specifically said will happen, what the other ones probably will end up being. Now, do you want the Cowboys to make changes that work? If you do, which I think we all do, show it by liking today's video, please and thank you right now. Free, simple, and easy to do. Here's what Schotty said coming out of the bad loss against, or last week, I should say. The solutions are making adjustments to scheme, changes to personnel, giving this guy a little bit more playing time and all that. Those things will play themselves out. There's always reasons to change, and there will be change. I can promise you that. I can show you that. We've already had meetings. We've talked about those changes. We're kind of in the mode right now where we got kind of a one-game season. I say because we got Arizona before the bye, and really bigger changes to our style will happen over the bye week. That's when we get a chance to say, okay, now we're looking back at these 9 games. What were the issues? Did we get them corrected? No? Well, then we need to do this. We need to do that. I don't love the after the bye mindset. I get part of it. Like, it's hard to make like sweeping changes on an even 8-day schedule. Probably that stuff is more scheme oriented. If you want to do like real changes, I'm old enough to, my college fired their head coach in the middle of a season one year. There was only so much you can do from a changing the offense where they had to change it. It was a multi-week rollout. I think also after the bye is a key factor there because you're going to get injured players back that week. Overshown in theory is going to be back. Shavon, Revel, maybe a few others. Guys like Perrion, Winfrey. When Malik Hooker comes back, we shall see. They will be getting some pieces back that I think can hopefully unlock some additional stuff. But I do think some immediate changes, and some of the easy ones there are personnel related. Overall, both offense and defense, which makes it a bit complicated. What is your confidence level in the Cowboys coaching staff? Scale it from 1 to 10. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. Let's discuss what some of these changes that are coming could be. The biggest of which is you have to run more man coverage. I am sorry, it is time. The Cowboys did run more man coverage, as we pointed out, against the Denver Broncos. Good note by Bobby Belt, which I've since confirmed through the Summer Sports Advanced Data. They only ran man 4 times in the first 3 quarters. It was once per quarter. And then they increased their numbers in the 4th quarter and essentially garbage timed their way to running more man coverage. Again, per Summer Sports, the man coverage, zone coverage splits this season. They're running zone 81% of the time. There's a few like 81.9% of the time. I have a typo there. My bad. The usage rate is 18.1. The completion percentage is significantly in favor of man coverage, sub 60% versus 65.9%. Yards per attempt, slightly in favor of man. Touchdown ratio is actually in favor of zone. Touchdown rates are in favor of zone. A lot of touchdowns have come in the red zone. They've run some more man in the red zone and had issues down there. But they are allowing less EPA per play. Nothing they're doing is working very well, but I do think the overall coverage stuff, the designs are a negative for Matt Eberflus. You know they haven't run a single rep this year of 2 high man coverage, where they got those 2 deep man coverage looks. It's all cover 1 or cover 0. So if they come out in a 2 high shell and they don't rotate, it's not man. It's a massive giveaway. Not that a ton of teams are doing 2 high man coverage stuff, but like, come on, guys. If Matt Eberflus keeps being stubborn about his coverage stuff, then he shouldn't be a defensive coordinator. Every coach says we're going to adjust the scheme to fit the personnel. Matt Eberflus has failed that test significantly this season. Today's show is made possible by Ethos. As a father, of 2 kids, it's not fun to think about what would happen if something happened to you, but you do need to be prepared. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL daily. That's ethos.com/NFL daily. Ethos is a trustworthy company that disrupts the traditional life insurance industry. And as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. They're an online platform that makes life insurance fast and easy to protect you and your family's future in minutes, not months. There's no complicated process, and it's 100% online. No medical exam is required. You answer a few health questions and get a quote in as little as 10 minutes. 3 million families have completed their applications and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage for them. So protect your family's future with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL daily. That's ethos.com/NFL daily. Application times may vary, rates may vary. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Change the second. More Jadeveon Clowney for the Dallas Cowboys. This is one that has been essentially confirmed by Brian Schottenheimer. He told Clarence Hill that there's going to be more snaps for Clowney, that the rust is off, he's back, and he's going to be a key part of the pass rush and the defensive line up front, which I say good. This is... the defensive line room has not been particularly good. Snap count-wise, kind of hovered in this 25-ish. Now, there's differing levels of snap counts and ratios and everything there. Didn't play a ton against Carolina. He has been a little bit more impactful from a pressure perspective. He's gotten a little bit going as of late from a win rate perspective, pressures in general. I think he is one of the 2, or at least 3 best edges right now for this Cowboys team. I kind of feel like there's a pretty clear delineation for who's playing well at defensive end and who's not playing well at defensive end. Clowney is one of the guys playing more, or playing better. Do you think Clowney should play more for the Cowboys? I am on board with yes. What do you think? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Curious how these starters will change here. I think Dante Fowler does fine as a passer. They don't trust him or James Houston as a run stopper. They were trying to make Marshawn Nealon and Sam Williams their run stoppers. I don't think either guy has played very well. Sam Williams continues to be a liability more often than not. His snap count was reduced last week. Would not be surprised if that continues. Nealon's been banged up, and I think that's a factor in this, but hey man, it's the NFL. You have to be able to play but hurt. I think from moving on from these guys, or not playing these guys as much, the snap count should come out of the pockets of Marshawn Nealon and Sam Williams. The Cowboys Report is free, and it always will be. Hit that sub button if you haven't already, youtube.com/CowboysTV for more free Cowboys YouTube videos. Next up, we're back at linebacker. And this almost has less to do with Maurice Leofau and more to do with the other linebackers out there. Leofau I don't think has been great this year. I think it is actually highly concerning that he was showing some promising stuff last year, and it looked like he might be a decent player for you, where he looked like he was going to be a clear-cut top 2 option for you at linebacker after last season, or maybe top 3 depending on what else you paired with DeMarvin and Overshown once Overshown gets healthy, and he hasn't been as good this year. Is that a coaching issue? But in the end, I'd rather see Leofau out there than Kenneth Murray. I can't. There will be the occasional good game. He'll show the occasional flash play, but his instincts remain like molasses. He just doesn't process fast enough. He doesn't. He doesn't shed blocks either, and he's not good in coverage. He can blitz a little bit. Well, for a coach who doesn't blitz his linebackers very often. Why? I'm actually okay playing Shamar James because he's young. And if you're going to be bad, be young. Don't be an experienced vet and be bad. At that point, I'd rather let Leofau give it a shot. So pick one to start, and I think Leofau can handle green dot duties. Let's not let that be a reason why you can't sit your worst linebacker. KM for Kenneth Murray, ML for Maurice Leofau. Who should start? Final note, look, you have to be more aggressive. And this is a change from Schottenheimer's perspective. He has been the throwback coach who doesn't like going for it on 4th downs. Numbers here from Ben Baldwin and his analytics site. win probability gain by going for it on less of greater than 1%, which is sizable. Outside of garbage time, or even like you have to go for it because the game's getting out of hand on you, or in the first quarter period, not including the final 30 seconds. Those are all the numbers there. Cowboys going for it when they should 25% of the time. That number jumps up to 2% of win probability to be gained. Guess what? They're still bottom 5 going for it 20% of the time, which is even worse to jump in that direction. Like the big one of these is like you punted on 4th down with 5 yards to go, down by 2 scores in the late third. Like, what are you doing out there? And going for it with greater than 3% win probability gain, you're down there about 33%. And look at some of those head coaches that are doing it right. Dan Campbell, Andy Reid. I know we don't like Nick Sirianni, but he's going for it a lot. Sean McVay. Yeah, you got Mike Tomlin in there, but like even the Chargers jump way up on this list after being kind of near the bottom with you for a little bit. There's too much cowardice right now. And with the way this defense is playing, you simply have to be more aggressive. You cannot sit back and go, well, our defense will help us. Normally it's the opposite, like offensive coaches go for it and defensive coaches trust their defense when they shouldn't. Schotty's just not going for it. Stop it. Field goals and punts will lose you games with how bad this defense is. They have to be aggressive. Prediction time. Will the Cowboys make a trade? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Y for yes, N for no. Get those predictions in. 61% say yes. Get those votes in. Y for yes, N for no. I'd lean yes. It also could be 2 trades. I wouldn't be shocked if they flipped Jalen Tolbert. I think there's a chance he's inactive on Monday Night Football, by the way. Mostly because at some point they're going to have to activate Mingo. And if you're activating Mingo, Tolbert is probably the one that you would scratch, even coming off of the touchdown. So, Aiden, what's up?
Not hating. Who's taking Tolbert? Who's taking Tolbert right now? Who you think?
Might be able to get him for might be able to find a 7th round pick partner.
Maybe like the Giants or something?
Sure.
Somebody
I mean,
like
Steelers. Be pretty funny. Goes to Pittsburgh. I don't think it's very much. I think you're getting a swap, maybe. Just like but at that point, like, you know, saving some money and freeing up a roster spot space might actually be worth it. But again, I don't think it's going to be it's not like you're attaching him in a 1st round pick and getting Max Crosby. Let's put it that way. That one is not happening. I followed up with Mitch again. I sent him the screenshot of the claim it's a 1st and a pick swap. He's like, it's 3 1st round picks. Get the conversation going now. I'm like, all right. I mean, I think it's very clear that like the Raiders don't want to. Like, and Max does not want to. But hey, you know what? If it happens, great. How awesome would that be? $5 from William Cook. You think Jerry's $100 billion deal would increase their budget? Well, here's the thing about the Comstock Resources stuff. They haven't actually hit their like big hit yet. He's pumped a lot of stock into it. Now they've had a nice little rise. It has done much better over the last year or so. It's up about 47%. But the stock price is only like $20. Like it's not the craziest stock price to get in on. But it peaked back in June and it's actually kind of dropped off a little bit since then. Year to date, it's actually down. So I get Jerry's excited about it. He believes in this, but the results are not there yet. Actually, the stock's down about 1% year to date. Jerry's a salesman, man. He knows how to do it. We'll be live Monday night on primetime. Cowboys and the Cardinals. Then we will again be live for the trade deadline the very next day. So we'll have some energy drinks. Hit that sub button if you haven't already. YouTube.com/CowboysTV.